Today's podcast is brought to you by a company who we have been using for years and takes up significant shelf space inside of our own kitchen. Biosteel Sports Nutrition.
It was a product created out of necessity 8 years ago and is trusted by athletes like Connor McDavid, Tyler Seguin, Brooke Henderson, Rosie MacLennan, and Andrew Wiggins.
They're really a leader in sports drinks for everyone from professional athletes to everyday champions.
Understand something, guys. Nothing worth ever having in this world comes easy.
Do what these champions doing if you're going to be a champion.
You control your outcome.
Who am I?
I'm a champion.
What up, champions, and welcome back to a brand new Biosteel breakdown. As always, I'm your host, Adrian, with my co-host,
Sylvie.
Another Friday, and we're back breaking down another topic in the world of health, wellness, training, mindset, nutrition. Whatever you need to know, we got the answers. And if we don't have the answers, we'll find them out somehow. I promise. Right?
We'll do our research.
I had to do some research for this one this week. Excuse me. Some of these are pretty good. They're stuff we handle every single day, and they can come off the top. But I combed through the world of PubMed for today's topic. I'll say that. So I'm feeling ready.
You got in there.
Feeling prepped. Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
We're talking about cold therapy, specifically ice baths.
Okay.
And ice baths are very, very popular. I think in the running community, in the triathlon community, maybe the most so. But
I feel like football too.
And football too, where they have a bunch of them outside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and these giant linemen just kind of sink into them. But I use it as well for fighting. I like them, and I know that there's some controversy that has come out in regards to ice baths. So for a long time, they were universally regarded as this great method of recovery, and now over the last few years, well, I guess more than that, but over the last definitely 5 years, more and more research is coming out, and it's showing that perhaps they aren't as effective as we once thought. Or maybe the results are placebo-based and not physiological changes within the body. So yeah, we wanted to chat about it. If you are the type of person that likes to have an ice bath, then we got some research for you, I guess.
Okay, so how does it work?
Well, cold therapy can be a variety of different ways. It could be as simple as just putting an ice pack on an area of your body that was inflamed or you felt required some treatment. It could be something like cryotherapy, where we're inside of a cylinder and we're dropping the temperature down really drastically, really quickly, and we're in there for a short period of time. Or most traditionally, it's a tub filled with ice, and then you're being submerged. So your cold water immersion into that water typically up to your neck. And you're sitting there for a period of time, 7 minutes. I don't know why that number sticks out in my head, but I think we always used 7 minutes for how long we would stay in there. So as a result, that's how long I stay in. But yeah, those are like three of the more common methods, I suppose. And the idea is that you go into the ice bath and your body gets the core temperature drops and your skin temperature drops and everything constricts and you start to flush toxins. And then as your core temperature reheats, you're kind of triggering the healing process and you're accelerating the rate at which blood and nutrients within your body flow to that area to help heal it. So you're decreasing the inflammation, taking that away, flushing the system, and then boosting the process coming back. That's kind of just Cole's Notes version, let's call it.
So let's chat with you specifically first. Like, does it work for you?
I like it.
What have you noticed positives? Like,
I use it, I think, okay. So maybe, I guess we could talk about, should we talk about that, like the ice bath first and then come back, I guess? Yeah. So do they work? Maybe. The science is pretty inconclusive on that. So there is some research saying that they are effective for decreasing acute trauma and for increasing recovery on short turnaround times. So if you were to be like in a tournament, for example, and you wanted to have an ice bath in the morning and you had a secondary game like late at night. But on the flip side, there's also evidence showing that there's no discernible difference between any other form of active recovery and using an ice bath. So if that's the case, then why subject yourself to 7 minutes of, I don't know, sub-zero hell? and it's kind of up in the air. I don't know if it's ever like, maybe for some people react differently than other people do, and so it may always be that way, but it's definitely something that's being explored. So for myself personally, I do enjoy it. When I leave the ice bath, I feel refreshed. I think it's a good method for teaching you how to control your breathing. So it's not hurting you, like, first and foremost. Like, it's not decreasing your recovery time, at least not in the articles that I've read. I'll look into that a little bit further, but I don't see anything where it's affecting your recovery time negatively. But yeah, it's teaching you to control your breathing while you're in there. It's subjecting you to some level of discomfort, which I think is important.
Mental training.
Exactly. It's an aspect of mental training and mental strengthening, because ultimately you can't win per se. Like the cold water is not going anywhere. It's not like it's an opponent that you can beat. So I think that's very beneficial. And then also I notice that I feel a difference when there's like high trauma days. So if it's a sparring day, so if there's a lot of contacts, maybe like football, for example, like you're like running into each other and tackling drills, for that kind of stuff, I do notice a difference. I find it helpful. And again, that could just be placebo. It could be, it could actually be helping. It could not, but personally, I like it. So yeah.
So what, if not cold tubs, what would you find the most effective like recovery tool that you've found helpful?
I see what you mean. So if ice baths don't work, what does? Yes. Okay, the big three for things that do work: food, first and foremost. Actually, maybe secondary. Sorry, Sil. But sleep is first and foremost. If you aren't sleeping well, if you're not getting your required amount of time, and that might be 7 hours, that might be 8 hours, that might be 9 hours, that varies. But if you're not getting the amount of sleep you need at night, then it doesn't really matter what else you do from a recovery perspective. Your body's not going to heal itself. It needs that time to build back up. It needs that time to be anabolic. And if you don't get your sleep, it doesn't really matter. That's the first thing. The second thing is food. We make that reference all the time, but if you don't put high quality fuel in your system, you're not providing your body with any raw ingredients to build yourself back up. So that's the second aspect of recovery that is hugely important and often overlooked is food to go along with the sleep. And the last thing, I wrote it down as friends, but it just means relaxation, like time away from whatever it is you're doing. And there is a ton of research supporting that those times where you shift away from being in fight or flight and you go into a rest, recovery, parasympathetic mode, that helps so much more in the recovery. So the Sunday barbecue with family and friends after a really hard day training on Saturday is probably more beneficial than anything else, especially if you got a good night's sleep Saturday night and then you paired it with some vegetables and lean protein on the barbecue. Awesome.
So in terms of the overall effect of cold tubs, you would say there's no negatives?
There's no negatives.
From what you've seen in the research?
Yes, there's no negatives, but I would say the results are definitely inconclusive.
Implement it when there's high trauma training and or like heavy leg day, like that type of thing?
That's when I would use it personally. Okay. And that's when I notice the benefit. And I just think it's important to cycle like whatever treatment therapy you choose, whether it's cold tubs, whether it's sauna, whether it's acupuncture, massage, whatever it is, don't do anything too often.
And then the top three, the most important recovery tools:
sleep, food, and friends.
Sleep, food, and friends. I love it.
Anything else?
No, I think that's
it.
You broke it down.
That's it, guys. I wish I had more concrete answer for you. I wish I could say yes, absolutely, dive in head first. I wish I could say no, avoid that cold plunge at all costs. But I think there's probably some merit, but maybe not as much as we previously thought.
Okay.
So that's it. As always, thank you for checking it out. Make sure you head over to biosteel.com. Use the code word
Champ Lifestyle, capital C, capital L.
And you can get yourself 15% off all the amazing products that they have that will help in recovery and won't require you to be submerged up to your neck in frigid water. But
that's it.
All right, guys, check back next Friday for a brand new breakdown.